Hey everybody, for today's warm-up, we are going to definitely need a pencil, and I would recommend that you are using your HB pencil since it's our pencil for sketching. And I also grabbed a Sharpie. I'm going to use the ultra fine point with a really super fine tip. You could use the fine point if you wanted to, and this is just to add some variation if you want to today, and also for labeling. So we are going to label the date. It's going to be November 2nd if you are in first or third grade, and it's going to be November 3rd if you are in fourth, fifth, or sixth grade. And then we're going to divide our paper into two sections. So I'm going to go back with my pencil and just make a line down the middle of the paper. You don't have to do this, but I would recommend it so that we can show that we're going to be looking at two different kinds of shapes today. All right, so our focus is going to be shapes, and on the left side, we're going to write geometric shapes, and on the right side, we're going to write organic shapes. And we've already looked a little bit at geometric shapes. First, I'm probably looking at organic. Maybe you've seen them before, but I think you'll be surprised to find that you will see both of these in your everyday life and the world around us, not just in art class. We've specifically talked a little bit about geometric shapes, and we looked at them to use them for our foundation character studies. Today we're going to be looking at them to compare and show the difference of organic shapes. And so geometric shape, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to write definition underneath it. So for shape to be geometric, they are closed by a boundary, and it's created by combining a specific amount of curves or points or lines. So we think of these being mathematical, they look man-made. So mine's not in the center, so I'm just going to write the definition under here. If you need to rewrite it, that's totally fine. Figure or area, closed by a boundary, finding specific amount of curves, points, or lines. Kind of think of today as note taking. If you don't want to put your definition up here, maybe you wanted to put it somewhere else, that's fantastic, as long as we have some space for some sketching and drawing. Same thing with organic shapes. So when we take a look at organic shapes, then we will write down our definition and explore what they look like as well. So geometric shapes we're already a little bit familiar with, so we're just going to take a couple minutes to look at the geometric shapes on the screen, and we're just going to sketch a couple of our choice. And remember, so the geometric shapes, when we're looking at them, we will be seeing more lines that are equivalent. They match. They have angles, they come to points, and they're very specific in their orientation. We are going to start talking about symmetry, and geometric shapes are symmetrical. So if you were to take a line down the middle of the shape and fold it, it would reflect on both sides. And a lot of geometric shapes have multiple lines of symmetry, so that's something else we're going to look at as well. For right now, we're just practicing sketching, maybe some shapes that we need practice drawing. Sketching lightly. Pressing harder when we need to. Circles are always a good shape to practice different sizes of shapes that are geometric. Remember, with any shape, before you press really hard to get the shape defined, you can lightly sketch and kind of find your place before you then press harder. Go ahead and make your last geometric shape. All right, and now we're going to take a look at organic shapes. So organic shapes are different from geometric shapes in that they're much more freeform. They are not symmetrical, so they're more irregular. And as you can see on the screen, we can see organic shapes in nature a lot. We're going to be able to make more of our own unique shapes because that is organic. We can also take inspiration from the everyday items, things found in nature that we're familiar with that do have that freeform look. So for our definition, and again, mine's going to be a little crunched. If you don't want to put it up here, that's okay. I wish I would move mine to the side, but it is what it is. So organic shapes are shapes that are irregular or asymmetrical in appearance. They tend to have curvy flow to them. And maybe if you can't see your word, if you have a highlighter, you want to highlight it or underline it, that would be a good idea. You don't have to. You can think of our sketchbooks as a visual journal or like note-taking. If you underline it, that's a good way to signify that's our focus word. All right, so then we're going to take a few minutes to try to draw some of the organic shapes that we see on the screen. I'm going to pick some that I want to practice. You can follow along, or you can pick some that you want to practice, or maybe even try to create some of your own based on the ones you're seeing. So like I'm really liking those blobs. So I'm going to try a few of those. Well, they look like blobs, but they're a form, an organic shape. And then maybe I'm going to make some of my own after I get a feel for looking at the shapes and try to have my pencil follow the line all the way around the shape that I'm seeing. Remember, you should be looking at the shape or the presentation right now more than your paper, because we should be seeing the object or the item that's in front of us, which are our shapes, and not getting so focused on the paper. We're developing our visual observational skills. Maybe you're remembering a leaf that you've seen recently, or a rock, and trying to create the outline of that. I guarantee you, if you go outside after we're doing these lessons, you're gonna be like, oh my goodness, look at all these organic shapes. They're everywhere. Looks like a pear. as an organic shape. If we draw the outline, it would not be symmetrical. It would not match if we folded our hand in half. Go ahead and make your last organic shape. Add any last lines or marks that you're working on. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap up our warm-up for this morning.